What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Primordial, entitled Where Greater Men Have Fallen. This is released on Metal Blade Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Dublin, Ireland, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very heavy, sorrowful, Celtic folk-inspired style of black metal. If there were to be any bands in the spectrum of black metal that could take the traditional musical stylings of black metal and merge it together with folk music, Primordial would be one of those bands that does it absolutely perfectly. Ever since this band first set foot into music, they have been so very consistent and have made such incredible music throughout the years. At first, they had more of a traditional sort of black metal sort of sound going for them, but as their music and their sound progressed, they became much more emotional and bringing forward an almost Celtic folk influence into their music. A lot of Irish roots being bred into their sound. And it really shows you the level of depth and maturity that this band has taken over the years. And it's just such a deeply rich and invigorating sound. I mean, from this band's earlier works with albums like Spirit the Earth Aflame, to Storm the Calm, to even their later 2000s works like To the Nameless Dead and their most recent full-length 2011's At the Puritan's Hand. That album was just so triumphant. I loved the vocal variations. I loved the musicianship. It just was such a solid record. And it's been a while since we had heard anything from Primordial, and now, after almost 3 years, we have their 8th full-length album entitled Where Greater Men Have Fallen. It's 8 tracks, and it clocks in at around 58 minutes in length, and pretty much like any sort of Primordial release, this is definitely going to be one massive journey you're going to be leaping into once you get into listening to it all the way through. And honestly, it's great to hear Primordial put out a record again, because with Where Greater Men Have Fallen, they continue on and probably deliver one of the best albums of their current later works. I just really think that they go all out here with this album, and it definitely makes for some incredibly moving moments all the way throughout. These guys know how to create great music, and it definitely showcases itself throughout the 8 tracks on this album. I mean, from the opening title track to songs like The Seed of Tyrants, you can definitely tell that this band takes great care of its craft, whether it be the moments where it sounds like straight up traditional black metal to moments where they merge the black metal and folk music elements. It just really sounds awesome. I love the way that the guitars are being handled here. I definitely love the soul and power that the riffs are being that are being showcased here. Once again, going back to the title track, I really think it just shows the great level of diversity and speed that that the guitar work is. Pretty much a standard for any sort of Primordial release. And then you get to tracks like Babel's Tower. I just think the riffs on that song are just so awesome. To even a track like The Alchemist's Hand. I just love the way the guitars are being handled on that track. I just think it sounds so smooth and effortless. I mean, these guys who handle the guitar work are just such professionals, and they really bring forth some very moving music here. Whether it be just straight up calm and sullen to just straight out heavy black metal, I just think they deliver some incredible riff work all the way through. The solos sound really amazing too. It's not distracting in any sort of aspect. It just makes for something incredibly moving. The bass work is very good too. It's definitely audible and very heavy for this album's overall theme and tone. It doesn't feel too distracting. It feels just right. It's nice and warm and crisp, and it definitely suits this album's production and style. The drum work here is very valiant and gallant too. I love the way that it paces itself all the way throughout. There are mostly long songs being executed here, but yet this drummer knows how to deliver a great drum performance, whether it be as gallant as it is on the title track, to even the black metal sort of traditions on the Seed of Tyrants. I just really think this drummer knows exactly what he's doing, and he just delivers a very memorable performance. The faster moments, the more mid-tempo paced moments, definitely are well executed and well versed here. And moving on to the vocals, Alan Averill is just such an amazing vocalist. He can command your attention, and he even has the power to make any tough metal person just get down to their knees and just bawl and crawl into the fetal position, because he is that type of vocalist to bring out the inner emotion within the listener. And it definitely showcases him. It showcases itself very well here on Where Greater Men Have Fallen. I love his voice. He has a very rugged, raspy, and very well understood vocal delivery. His emotion in his singing is just so wonderful to listen to even his more mid-range sort of growls. There's not a lot of growling to be heard on this album, because more likely than anything, this is an album dominated by Alan's singing style. But I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. It wouldn't have mattered if it was equal singing and growling. I love the fact that there's a lot more dynamic moments for him to showcase his singing. But once you do hear his growls, they definitely command your attention, and I definitely think it makes for another great chapter in this already amazing saga that this band puts forward. So overall, if you're a fan of Primordial, if you're a fan of what this band has put out in the past or recently, these guys know how to deliver some sensational black metal. These guys are legendary at what they do, and they weave together another amazing, beautiful, well-woven piece of folky black metal. Primordial are such geniuses. So if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say the title track, Where Greater Men Have Fallen, Babel's Tower, The Seed of Tyrants, The Alchemist's Head, and Wheeled Lighting to Shift the Sun. Just some amazing tracks. So I'm going to leave you a link in the description box to the title track that is currently streaming on the Metal Blade Records YouTube channel, and I will also link you to where you can purchase a physical copy. It'll be available on CD. I believe there's vinyl versions in the works also, so whatever version you're able to acquire of this album, it's definitely going to be worth it to own. So, again, the album is Where Greater Men Have Fallen by Primordial. This is released on Metal Blade Records. Definitely check this out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very solid 9 out of 10. Primordial are one of the best bands to represent the Irish side of black metal, and yeah, hail Alan Averill, and hail Primordial. So I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Army Ho out.